Hello, 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 everybody. It's so great to see all of your non-existent digital faces right here in the chat. I know that our video quality is a little shot, but as long as our audio quality is still okay, everything should be fine. So let us know if we're stuttering or if we sound a little grainy. But with that out of the way, welcome and thank you for attending Arc 2 Episode 4 of our all-transgender, person of color led 100% homebrew, non-colonial, anti-orientalist Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition live stream actual play campaign.
Welcome to our TED Talk.
Welcome to our TED Talk. I am your GM. My pronouns are they, he, and she. My name is Connie. You can find me on Twitter at @byConnieChong. When I'm not here GMing and executive producing Transplanar RPG, you can find me as a professional GM with Magpie Games' curated play program where I GM masks. I'm going to pass along introductions to Erica. Let's do it.
Hi everybody, my name is Erica, she, her pronouns. I play V. Noct Scherzo, that lovable high elf sorcerer with a charlatan background and a draconic ancestry. And when I'm not here, you can find me at Erica New Girl here on Twitch and any other major social media platform. I play a variety of things, a lot of horror games, Phasmophobia, Among Us, Rocket League. I like to have a fun time. You should come check me out. It's my job. It's my job. So yeah. And with that, I'm going to pass on to Max.
Hello, I'm Max. I go by they, them pronouns. I play Dewey Quirk, our bird boy, and you can find me on Instagram at Starchmonger or Stitchmonger. I'm going to pass it to Devin.
Hello, my name's Devin. I use they, them pronouns. I play Manaya, who's tall and strong. And you can find me on our Discord. Join the Discord. The link's in chat somewhere. I'll pass it on to C.
Hi all, my name is C. I use they, them pronouns. I am a dancer, digital artist, and also a Twitch streamer. You can follow me on Twitter or Instagram at PieSharpArt, or now on my brand new Discord. No.
You have your own Discord? What is this?
I don't have my own Discord. My brand new Twitch channel, where I am trying very hard to become a Twitch affiliate, and that is pie_sharp. I will be next on there, I think on Monday or Tuesday or whatever, doing lots and lots of art.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
Everyone give pie_sharp a follow. They're awesome. They're so close to reaching their affiliate goal. Only, I think, like 20 followers away, so let's help them get there. And just as a reminder, you can now access our full schedule. Woo, we don't just do D&D using !schedule in chat. You see all of the other chat commands at the bottom of this bar over here. Here's a quick rundown. Sundays at 2 p.m. US Central Time. C does an art stream, as they mentioned, where they do take requests. Tuesdays at 7 p.m. US Central Time are our video. I think actually we moved them to 4 p.m. So Tuesdays at 4 p.m. US Central Time are our video gaming nights, where we play anything ranging from Overwatch to Minecraft to Overcooked 2 to Stardew Valley, to Celeste. We play a lot of fun games, so tune in for that. And every other Thursday at 4 p.m. US Central Time is our One-Shot Wonders, where our cast takes a break from D&D to play a one-shot of GM-less low prep and or indie tabletop games. And of course, Saturdays at 3 p.m. US Central Time we play our main D&D campaign. And finally, on the last Wednesday of every month at 7 p.m. US Central Time is our sub gaming night, where we game with our Twitch subscribers on stream. We played Scriblio last time. We've played Jackbox Party, a game. So if you have received a gift sub, or if you're subbed to us, please join our Discord so we can pop you into games on stream. So I'm going to pass things along to C now about our promo partners.
Yes, and I'm going to read over Bubba's furry body.
Use the cat spotted channel redemption if you have it.
As a reminder, you can always check out our promo partnerships with other trans, queer, and BIMPOC-led streams, pods, and projects using our !promo partners command in chat at any point. And we also have our official merch store up and running. You know about it, I've said it a bunch. You can use the !merch command to get to our Redbubble page and get yourself a Transplanar sticker, t-shirt, sweater, yeah, you know what I mean. Erica, donor thanks, if you would be so kind.
I would be so kind, because here at Transplanar, we love to thank everyone who is subbed, gift subbed, resubbed, given bits, all of that, whether that's here on our main campaign or for C's art stream or when we have solo gaming nights or group. And these are those folks we'd like to thank. Rika Honda, Dinky Shy, Tregation, Belgian Waffle 82, Moonflower Tea, Payman Stry, Shamika123, Sissy Riddle, Warnock Pro, King Obliterate, Rutabaga 5656, James Taylor, Taylor's Ghosts, Zoomer8907, Hickory Prick, K. Denick, Official Lollipop, Erica the Servant, Dr. Brain, Urind, Nature Check, D&D, Moirami, Darker Larper, Giro, Peachy763, Munchy Doo, Zeteric, We Lovely Corpses, Dungeon Meowster, Gabe James Games, Crude Imposter Nightbright, Fazman91, Key Squared, Scruffuses, and Shaw Dengeki. Thank you all so much. And as you can see on our overlay, we have a 25 sub goal. 5 subs grants the party a point of collective inspiration. 15 subs gets us an auto crit that anyone, including the GM, can use. And hitting 25 subs triggers a PC backstory flashback. GM Connie will roll a d4, and whoever the number lands on will be pulled into a flashback scene of the GM's choice. I would like to move it on to Max to fill us in on what's going on in this wild story.
Sure. As a reminder, you can always access our recap document by using !recap in the chat or going to bit.ly/transrecap. If you don't want to read it, here's what's happened last time. The team settles in for one last night with Squeak before parting ways. They have the same dream again. A battlefield littered with bodies, a huge towering stranger, and the unsinkable feeling that the 8 of them are doomed. Oka hurriedly writes a letter to someone they know that could interpret these dreams, forgetting that there's no post offices around here. The rest of the party sits them down and has a little intervention. They've got to stop hurting themselves. They decide to head towards the weave-spun nest, stopping in Shadecap to convince an old woman to lend them a very nice boat. Oka is caught up to by a courier who refers to them as Prince Makoyahian, and delivers a letter from the slumbering palace. They start to take a picture of Oka to confirm the delivery, when Oka takes off running towards the water, tossing the contents of their coin purse at the courier. Everyone manages to hop in the boat before the courier catches up, but a shaken Oka refuses to say anything about it. As the party becomes suspicious and begins to speculate, Oka makes a quick exit by jumping out of the boat. That's where we left off.
Yep, thank you so much for that very succinct and flavorful recap, Max. And last but not least, Devin, why don't you tell us about the title of this episode?
Yeah, so as always, our episode titles come from queer and/or BIMPOC poets, but today's episode title actually comes from a song actually by Kroon, whose music you heard during the waiting room, which was kind of fun. So today's title is called Pray Screaming, from the song in the same title in the unreleased album Necromantic by Kroon.
Thank you so much, Devin. And now moving on to the session itself, some content warnings for those old and new to our stream. For this episode and our campaign in general may include suicide, fantasy violence, death of loved ones, emotional trauma and baggage, cult and cult-like behavior, anxiety and panic attacks described in detail, poverty and classism, a refugee crisis, natural disasters, and economic injustice.
Just that, huh?
Just that. Yeah, it's interesting. We actually got an... Never mind. That's unrelated to our campaign. But people who are like, oh, you're anti-orientalist, does that mean there's no conflict in your world? I'm like, do you see all these fucking content warnings, my dude? Anyway, let's get started.
Connie is still salty.
I am still salty. If you're gonna come into our Tumblr... Anyway, let's get started. Splash. Oka, your body hits the water, and the current of the black tongue is cold and swift. It pummels you downstream, filling your mouth with silt and water and pebbles. As the river forces your body to crumple, the icy shock of water pulls a memory to the forefront of your mind, dredging it up from the murky recesses of your consciousness that you had long since buried. Water. Warm water. A pond. Splashing. Laughter. Your 2 sisters playing keep away with your 3rd sister's fan. You holding court over your siblings. Your mother on the shore, shaded by a parasol, smiling, surrounded by attendants. Someone puts a hand on her shoulder. You see him now. Your father. You can't quite make out his face. As your face breaks the surface of the black tongue, and you gasp, frigid air needling your your lungs. The memory is washed away downstream. And Moss Crawler, the boat you'd gotten from that older woman, bobs on the surface of the river a dozen feet away. Your friends alarmed and at attention. Oka, what do you do?
I don't know how good Oka is at swimming. Generally speaking. This was more of a panicked response. So I think they just kind of flounder there for a minute, coughing and spitting up pebbles? They have pebbles in their mouth? Is that what you said to me, Connie?
It's a river filled with gunk. I don't know what to tell you.
They just start spitting water and kind of like just thrashing around.
Yeah, okay.
Basically.
The current is pretty strong. So as you're thrashing there, make an athletics check for me.
Oh, that was a fucking natural 20.
Okay, yeah. If you want to, how does this natural 20 look like for Oka?
Gosh. Well, Baba's sitting on my character sheet. Let's see.
Does this mean you reach perhaps Moss Crawler? You manage to stroke your way over to the boat, fighting the current?
I think maybe Oka grabs onto one of the oars that they had been, that like I assume it's like attached to the boat in the like oar holder thing. So they just kind of are like hanging off like 5 feet away from the edge of the boat, holding on to the oar.
Yes, sure, sounds good.
Looking extremely cross.
The oar begins to slip out of the oar holder.
It was a natural 20!
Yeah, natural 20 means you hold on to the oar. It doesn't affect what the oar does or doesn't do based on physics. Manaya, Dewey, and V, what do you do?
Manaya grabs the oar since she's right there.
Okay.
Dewey grabs Manaya like he's gonna help hold her.
As if that will help. What about you, V?
I'm gonna cast Mage Hand and like,
To
whatever
also
it needs
help?
to do. Yeah.
Manaya, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to pull Oka in, or are you just gonna keep them there in the water, but keep the oar from slipping out?
I'll keep the oar from slipping out. We just taught them this lesson. They need to learn just a little bit.
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man? Fucking blood hunter.
This is something her half-orc mother would do to her, where if she told Manaya not to do something and then she did it anyway, she'd have to live with the consequences.
Okay, make a strength check with advantage, because you're getting help from Dewey and V. Okay, you're bobbing there in the cold current, you know, your skin all drenched, your clothes clinging to your drenched skin. It's pretty miserable in there. What did you get, Manaya?
Well, one was a natural 1, which is nice to not have. One was a 19.
What's the total on that?
19.
19 is the total? Okay. Yeah, you're able to keep the oar there. Your muscles tense a little bit because you're fighting both Oka and the current, which is fast. It's very strong. And it's very difficult. If anyone who's ever like rowed a boat knows to like fight against the current of a river. So you can keep it there with your 19. Your muscles begin to ache a little, even with Dewey hanging on and the mage hand doing something. 10 pounds worth of force that V's applying. You know you can only keep Oka there for a few more moments. You're either gonna have to like let the oar go or do something like rein them in or something.
Yeah, she's gonna like brace herself in the middle of the boat with both of her feet pressed against the sides,
Okay.
so the boat doesn't tip. And being a counterweight on one side, just pull Oka out of the water.
Yeah, okay, with your 19 you're able to do that. You sort of leverage Oka out of the water. Oka, you're holding onto the oar and you you lift out of the water like some sort of very sad, pathetic fish that's clung onto the side of this oar. What do you do, Oka?
Hey, fucking put me down!
Manaya pulls them over to the boat, shakes the oar a little bit.
Oka's gonna try. They're just having a brat fit, so they're gonna just try to cling on to it.
You're able to do that with your athletics check.
He's gonna shake it some more.
Okay, it's like you're riding the world's most terrifying like roller coaster. You're just on this oar. V, Dewey, do you intervene?
Dewey's gonna go over, and I guess Oka's up in the air, but he's gonna try and like reach up with like a bedroll to like dry them like a blanket over them, try and like pull them down because this is, like we said, this is unsustainable.
Okay. How are you gonna reach them? If only you could fly.
I don't think he's.
Yeah,
He's just jumping.
That's fair.
He's just
okay.
like.
Yeah, Dewey, you're jumping. Excuse me, Dewey, you're jumping with the bedroll, like trying to get to Oka, trying to pull them down, but Oka's like swinging out of reach because of like Manaya like bouncing on the oar. V, what are you doing?
I'm gonna go the full chaos route here. I'm gonna cast Disguise Self to look like an awesomer named Makoya.
Okay, and what does that look like?
Hold on here. I gotta remember. Let's see. Awesomer, gray skin. Where did I put these notes?
So is it basically
Uh,
identical to Oka with a few differences, or very different?
Yep, pretty much. Yep.
What are the differences?
Well, it's gonna be like because V had never actually seen. This is all like V's interpretation of what she's heard Makoya to be. We'll just say like Makoya as V is like taller than Oka is. Like, you know, not so much like buff, more like slender. Because again, this is like an interpretation. Long hair and dressed in what looks to be some nice royalty robes, but you know, V doesn't know the exact kind of robes, so they're probably very incorrect to what they should be.
An approximation of too long in royalty. Okay.
Like it's like right colors, but in terms of that, like any patterns or what symbols would be on it are completely wrong.
Okay. What about the hair?
Long, very flowing all over the place, but sort of like done up a little bit, like maybe like some of it is pulled back a little bit into like a braid, but like the rest of it's like long, just like something that looks decorative and like someone has spent a lot of time on it.
Sure. Okay. And V, pray tell, as you transform, it's sort of like a and then standing there is almost a spitting image of Oka, except no scars. And long hair, you know, and no piercings also, I'm assuming, and dressed like a lot more like fancy and sophisticated than Oka, sort of currently drenched like a wet cat hanging onto this oar is. V, this is your approximation of Makoya Hien, correct?
Yes.
Okay, Manaya and Dewey, as soon as V transforms, how do the two of you react?
I assume V is behind me. I'm just focused on. Okay, so if Oka reacts, I will know. But
The boat is small enough that you'd be able to see. This is a pretty obvious transformation.
I smack V with my feathered arm. I'm like, what the? Stop.
Okay.
I imagine if Oka's dangling in front of Manaya, as she sees this, as she sees V transform, she like looks past Oka and is just like
Raising an eye.
Right?
Are neither
Raising
of
an
you
eyebrow.
surprised that V knows what the transformation looks like? Or is, you know, that Oka has long hair or dressed in royal robes?
I mean, as far as Manaya knows, this is just V mocking Oka, which is
Sure.
not the time nor the place.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, Oka, how do you react to this transformation?
Oka's face falls flat for a moment. Like, they were, like, angry and bitchy, and then it's blank for a minute as they, like, look into V's eyes. They just let go of the oar, fall down into the boat. And then they stand up. They like bite their lower lip. They walk over to V, grab her by the chest and try to deck her.
Okay, yeah, V, do you resist?
I'll take it.
Okay,
I'll
yeah.
take it.
Oka decks you full on in the chest. Is that what you said?
In the face.
In the face. Oka just punches you in the face, and V, you stagger backward with the force of their blow. And the boat rocks as this happens. And V, I need you to make a dexterity save.
Ooh, excellent. My favorite.
We can't do this over again.
Ooh, that is... You said it was a save?
Yes.
Then that is a 19.
You catch yourself right on the edge of the boat. You fall, and your butt hits the edge, and you barely escape falling into the water. But now you're sitting with Oka standing over you, fuming, one fist raised.
Manaya's gonna start steering the boat from the back towards land.
Okay.
Just towards the bank.
Okay.
Don't fuck with me, V.
This whole time, like, V is very much speaking in a different voice now. Not V's voice. This whole time, I thought Makoya was dead, and I was running around, able to use this identity with no consequence, and who would have thought I've been hanging around with the ghost of Makoya for months.
Makoya Hien is dead. Makoya Hien died 7 fucking years ago. You're a fucking sham, V.
That may be true. I may be a sham. But this... Is this why you've been trying to destroy yourself all this time?
Go fuck yourself. Anoka, like, sits back down.
Look, friend. I know what it is to be running from your past. And as V is going to start sitting up, and slowly it's going to melt off as V is recovering from the fist. You can see, like, side of her face getting a little puffy. I know what it is to run from your history. And I know how much it can hurt when you, no matter how fast you run, it just keeps coming and catching up to you. But you're not going to help by trying to hurt yourself in the process. You can't remove it. You have to fix the past by making right now what you want it to be.
Unfortunately, V, I don't think that I was the one who made the mistake. Makoya Hien is dead. And they did not die by my hand. But they are dead. So let them fucking rest.
Well, friend, if you want to burn down the house of anyone who did that, you know I'm there for you.
It's a difficult thing, thinking about death here in the Court of Ravens, where they worship the Raven Queen, the goddess of birth and death, currently embroiled in an unnatural magical phenomenon where people in the court cannot just be laid to rest. Here the profane undeath disallows such a natural sacrament. Mosscrawler is guided to the shore, bumps against silty ground, and moors itself. What do the four of you do?
Oka will take out the letter that they got from the courier
Do you read it?
Oh god. They hold it in their hand, and their hands are shaking, like both with like still fucking pissed at V. They look up at Manaya, and they swallow a little bit, and they hand the letter out to her. I'm too scared to read this.
Manaya takes the letter. And she looks at everyone and says, "Everybody out. I won't have conflict on my boat."
Okay. Oka, Dewey, and V, where do the three of you go? You're sort of moored on like a shore. There's just sort of tangled forest with muddy ground all around you.
Dewey steps out, but stays close. He's still interested in the scroll.
In reading.
He's also, yeah, what's on the scroll, and also like, he's not exactly sure what the tension is between Oka and V.
Yeah, it's a little confusing. Are you gonna ask?
No.
Okay. So Dewey, you stay on the boat, or do you stay on the shore away from the boat?
I step off the boat.
Okay, you step off the boat, giving Manaya space. Oka?
Also step off the boat.
V?
We'll wait till Oka's off the boat, and then we'll get off the boat.
Okay. Dewey, you get off first, and then Oka, followed by V. The three of you make your way a little ways away from the boat, I assume? Okay. Are the three of you gonna leave together, or are you gonna go in different directions?
I don't think any of us are leaving. I just assume that Manaya like wants us off the actual boat to figure out whatever we're about to figure out together.
Okay, sounds good. So the three of you step on land and you turn and face Manaya. Okay, Manaya, what do you do?
Manaya's gonna get out. She's gonna pull the boat up a little bit on land so it doesn't float away.
Yeah.
And she says, "First, Oka, I said I wouldn't ask. I will do as you request, but know that I am doing this because you have offered and not because I am prying. Second, ship's crew is meant to work together. As soon as there is conflict, the ship goes down. A ship's power, a ship's direction, is dependent on its crew. And if its crew is divided, well, a divided ship doesn't float, it sinks. We're getting back on that boat, and we're going to fuck. We're going to fuck.
We're going to fuck.
You're gonna fuck!
No, we're not.
The weave spun nest.
We've spun nest.
No, we're going to fuck.
Whoa!
Getting back on that boat, and we are going to the weave spun nest, and we're going to do, hopefully a little safer, what we did back in Talmud. But before we can get back on, I believe we have something to do. Manaya nods at Oka,
Who nods back?
and Manaya opens the letter.
Do you read it, Manaya?
Yeah,
Okay.
read it out loud.
Oka, do you want me to DM the contents of the letter to Devin, or should I read it out loud?
Ooh. I want to hear it in Manaya's voice.
Okay.
If Manaya's reading.
Manaya, yeah, sure. So, Devin, I'm going to DM you right now. With the contents of the letter. There it is.
What is this called? Like a dry read or something?
Yeah, a cold read.
Cold read? Is
Yeah.
that what it's called?
So go ahead and read it.
I'm assuming this starts with Dear Prince Ian or something.
No, it just starts.
Oh.
Yeah.
Manaya opens the letter, Looks around to make sure there's no one else around. This seems like a private matter.
Hold
Oh
on.
no.
Wait.
Oh no.
Do you speak Tew?
Very little.
Okay. Okay, so this is all written in Tew. I sent it to you, so you know what it says, Devin. But I'll let you interpret this how you want as an actor. But if there are any words that you feel like Manaya wouldn't know in Tew, you could skip over them.
Okay.
Like basic words that you might be able to read, that any like elementary school level understanding would be able to read. Go ahead, you're the linguist. I'll let you make those executive decisions.
Yeah. Linguist skills to work.
So y'all see Manaya unfurl the scroll. Manaya, does your brow knot a little as you realize it's in a language you're not used to?
Just a little bit.
Okay.
I'm not very familiar with the language, but I'll try my best. Mother dies. Please come home. I know you go. I heard the news. We all did. Something about the Republic. The rage. The 4 outsiders who saved the capital. The huge woman from Wuhanahi, the elf with white hair, the dirty Aarakocra, the scarred drow. That's you, isn't it? Can't read these names. But they think I'm crazy, but it's you. It has to be. Who else has 2 pupils in each eye? If this isn't you, I'm very sorry for the trouble and feel free to ignore this letter. Maybe I am crazy. But guess that's Makoya. If this is you, please come home. Mom needs you.
Oka is like staring like right next to Manaya's face. Just like out into the water. And then they move forward and take the letter and reread it.
Okay, I'll send it to you. See?
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Yeah, but basically Manaya got the gist of the letter. As Manaya passes it to Oka, Dewey and V, how are the 2 of you reacting?
V hears the part about like a mother and coming back to because the mother needs them, and it has us pretty actually like that kind of makes V's face go a little blank and cold, and she's actually kind of like retreats from the group a little bit, like just backs away a little bit and kind of gets lost in her own thoughts and memories.
I mean, this whole stuff about a mother dying and a mother needing you hits pretty close to home, V, I think. As you are, your own memories swim to the forefront. The gurgling of the river receding to the background, the buzzing of flies and insects and dragonflies also receding, as just the smell of your own mom's scent fills your nose, overseeding the mud and the fresh water for just a moment. What about you, Dewey?
Dewey turns to look at Oka in a different light, and he's like, "You have a family? I thought you were just out here on your own." Not really expecting a response, but
I think surprising even themselves, Oka does respond. Even though their eyes are just like glued on the paper, I did. A family. been alone for a long time. A really long time. This is from Yaya. She's old enough to write. Last time I saw her, she didn't know how to hold an inkwell. Oka folds up the paper and tucks it into their, under their armor. I don't really know what else to say. They kind of lean down and fish around in their bag, and they also pull out another smaller piece of parchment. Not really a parchment. It is an actual photograph, which I think outside of the URL /Uhanahi is pretty rare. And they hand it to Dewey. And it is a portrait, a family portrait of 4 children, and then a drow woman, and a human gender fluid person. And Oka points at the tallest child, who has 2 pupils in each eye and long black hair. Those are my sisters. That's my mom. And that is my other mom.
Do you need to go deal with that? Be with them?
How much would Dewey know of...
Yeah, Dewey, as you look at this picture, why don't you roll history? Looking at this picture to see what else you can find about it.
Oh no. 13.
13. With a 13, it's very clearly, first of all, the fact that there is a photograph means that Oka either has rich friends or comes from money. Because, the photograph was one of the URL's inventions. You weren't in charge of that, but you knew the person who was. And outside of, like Oka said, Uhanahi, the access to this sort of technology is only for the rich and the royal. And based on the rest of obviously the dress is Tulongan. All 5 of these people in this picture are from Tulong. Based on the backdrop from a royal family, everything here is extremely fancy. And the other mom, the one who is gender fluid, is very familiar with a 13. You would know, based on the headdress, based on the robes, based on the fact that even with this photograph, their faces sort of cast in shadow, almost like the technology couldn't quite capture their features. This is the Emperor of Tulong.
Dewey's eyes go wide, and he looks like he's gonna say something, but he doesn't, and he just holds the photograph back out to Oka.
Oka takes it again. Maybe hands it to Manaya if she looks like she wants to see.
Manaya doesn't have a particular interest in it, but she'll glance at it, nod, and hand it back.
What about you, V? Are you still lost in your own thoughts?
No, I think V would, if it's shown to me, would have a reaction. With a little slyness, she would be like, "Oh, shoot, I got your hair wrong a little bit, and I got your frame wrong a little bit. Like, she's like muttering to herself the ways in which she was incorrect in her disguised self presentation of Makoya.
There's some professional self-disappointment as V glances at it and hands it back. Manaya, what were you going to say?
Nothing.
Okay. What do the four of you do?
I think V is maybe as she's handing the photo back, or after she's done looking at it, she's you can actually see she's got some tears that have rolled down her cheek. Her like hot red swollen cheek where she was decked by Oka, and she's just gonna gently say back, taking care of a mother, a sick mother, is not an easy task, friend. I know. If you don't want to go back, I totally understand. And if you want to go back, I completely understand.
That's gonna leave a really bad bruise. And Uka will reach out and cast Healing Hands on V's face.
Yeah, you don't have to wait, spend healing hands because you didn't technically take damage. But for flavor, yeah, you put a hand on V's cheek and the bruising, almost it's like you did like a time reverse on that localized area. Like the bruising goes in and then like it straightens out and your cheek turns pale again.
Thank you very much, friend.
Manaya puts a hand on Oka's shoulder and like squeezes and rubs just a little bit, like a parent.
Oka looks utterly empty, like just completely washed out of color, of fury, of panic, of rage. It's just like all... Oh god.
What do the four of you do?
V turns.
Okay, I was like three different people talking. Let's do Manaya first.
I believe now might be a good time to break for lunch.
Dewey?
You gonna do V's first?
Okay, yeah. V?
That kind of changed.
What were you gonna say or do?
I think V was gonna suggest it might be a good time. I feel like perhaps the conflict amongst crew has been resolved. Maybe we could keep moving forward.
And Dewey?
Dewey's pulling out a map and kind of like charting, figuring out if making a stop in too long would be
feasible.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Looking at the map of Transplanar RPG that we have here, the Court of Ravens is, Jesus, why don't I... It's because I'm using a new computer, so I don't have my reference sheet easily. Pull it up. Okay, here it is. Based on this map, the Court of Ravens is sort of like to the far northwest of Andake, and between the court and Tulong is the boundary waters, and you can either go through Talmud or you can go through the Championship of Nabal. But to get to Tulong, to get to what you know is going to be the Slumbering Palace, it would take at least like a month, probably more.
How long would it take to get to Talmud? Back to Dabathati.
Half that time. Well, actually, this is the entire continent. To get to the Slumbering Palace from where you are, a few months, let's say, and it'll take maybe 2 months to get to Dabathati.
On across the god spine.
Yeah.
I'm pointing it out to Oka. I'm like, if you want to, this is probably. You can also go to. I know of a little shortcut. You can go to Dabathati.
Oka just kind of like puts their hand on Dewey's hand as he's like pointing around and just like moves it off the map. And doesn't say anything and just kind of like, like sits down for lunch kind of thing.
Okay, so the 4 of you break for lunch.
And then we could probably get moving again.
Sounds good. Scratch your rations off, because why not? If you're gonna break for lunch, because I like making people count resources
in this campaign. Apparently,
if you specifically break for lunch instead of, I'm assuming, just being able to like do stuff, I'll make you scratch off your rations, because why not?
I mean, like, we're taking a break. There's not anything. We're not gonna set up camp. It's the middle of the day.
Well, you're still munching on stuff. What you gotta munch on? The 4 of you,
I eat some moss.
Yeah, you eat some moss, Oka. You dig into your rations, lunch passes, and when the 4 of you are done eating, what do? The sun at this point, well, the lack of a sun, the light at this point in the sky is beginning to start to fade. Mm-hmm. You surmise it's approaching evening.
Well, shall we get ourselves going then?
Oka nods and helps Manaya get the boat into the water and all that stuff.
Okay.
As this is happening, as we're pushing the boat into the water, and Oka and Manaya are like next to each other, Manaya says something. What was I just about to say?
Okay,
Never mind.
Okay, while you think of that, the 4 of you pile back into Moss Crawler. You get off the shore, and you go back into the Black Tongue, and begin drifting down its current. So what's the plan? Are you just going to try to go as far as you can down the Black Tongue toward the Weave-Spun Nest, and when you can't anymore, maybe break for camp? Okay.
Yeah.
So you do that.
Or is there like any dock towns? Like
you don't see any.
To get darker?
Nope, you don't see any. As you're going down the Black Tongue, I don't think any of you are very familiar with the court. Squeak has sort of drawn out a very crude map for the 4 of you, but it didn't list any other locales other than like just like a general route for how to get to the Weave-Spun Nest as well as green open water. But as the 4 of you drift down the Black Tongue, the sunless sky turning darker and darker and darker, there are fewer and fewer boats on the water as the hour grows late. And you now only have a few, I think maybe half an hour until all light is gone. There's no town that you've spotted on the shores, just more unbroken swamp. And of course, the ever-present gushing of water. Based on where you are, Manaya, you know how to read currents. You know how to like sort of read the bend of the river. You know you're about halfway to the Weave-Spun Nest.
Okay.
Especially if you go by boat, it'll take probably another day to get there. What do the 4 of you do?
I relay this Manaya relays this information to the crew. To the party.
To the crew.
We are your crew.
Dewey, Oka, V, what do you do?
I'm scoping out a good place to land, somewhere that's like a little bit sheltered, somewhere we can spend the night.
Okay, Dewey, roll survival.
I didn't hear you for some reason.
That's a 5. Okay, would you like to use inspiration? Or are you gonna wait?
I don't have any.
We have 1 point of collective inspiration because we reached 5 subs. You can wait to see what other people do.
Yeah, let's see what...
Okay, yeah, Dewey, you're looking around, you're blinking. It's still very unnatural to have no light at all at night. Now that the stars are gone, you don't see anything at all really of note. And your very low survival roll, I think, too, means you're beginning to feel a chill, an unseasonable chill, settle into your feathers as the atmosphere grows colder and colder. It appears even though it's the height of summer. Here in the court to the far north, things are still pretty frigid, similar to the commune of Morose. V and Oka, how about the 2 of you? What do you do?
I mean, it's not really the strong suit to like be out in nature trying to figure out stuff where to be. So I think she's going to recognize that it's suddenly getting a bit colder, and she's going to use one sorcery point to just gain a resistance to cold.
Okay, what does it look like?
You just see like her eyes glow a little more, and I know I've done this before, but I think this time it's just like where like the little amount of veins you can see on V like just become a little more blue. You just her white face just turns a little bit more of a blue color, just ever so slightly.
Okay, yeah. As the chill begins to set in, you sort of feel yourself warded against it. As this icy shield almost seems to like magically ripple up your skin and protect you from it. Oka?
Oh man, Oka's still kind of fucked up a little bit. So I feel like they're not as on top of doing stuff. Like they've just been rowing mindlessly as Manaya has told them. So I think unless given like a direct direction, they're not in any place to be able to like actively help anyone.
Okay, Manaya?
Steering, wait for it to get too dark, and just before it gets too dark, she's gonna steer to the shore.
Okay.
Unless somebody says, like, that's a good place to land.
I don't think so. So based on, similar to how you stopped for like lunch, quote unquote lunch, you steer Mosscrawler toward a shore, making sure not to run her aground like hidden rocks or anything like that. And she docks on top of a silty delta area. Over here, everything is sort of dark. You see vines sort of in the blackness, like hanging, and you really can't see further than maybe 10 feet, 15 feet out in front of you, and the light is receding even more. You can sort of hear like the low, ever-present murmuring and chittering of bugs, insects, and birds sort of all around you, though. What do the four of you do as Mosscrawler bumps onto shore?
Oka will like get out and help Manaya like pull the boat inland so it doesn't wash away or anything like that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oka will... wait. We still have our bedrolls, and yeah, Manaya has rope. Okay, never mind.
Okay, Oka and Manaya, you pull Mosscrawler inland. Dewey and V, what do you do?
Dewey's gonna put on his goggles of night, his little spectacles, and just like scan the area around for danger.
Okay, yeah, you put on this very nerdy looking contraption over your glasses, or do you take your glasses off?
You know, like when I think doctors like look at shit that's like really small, they have these tiny things that go on their glasses.
Oh my god, okay, that's so nerdy. Okay,
I hate that.
You put your goggles over your glasses and you scan the area, and suddenly it's like you're seeing it in like a bright, like again, it's sort of like night vision, like the greenish kind of unnatural glow, vroom, like lights up your goggles of night. Do they have a charge? How do they work? Or can you just use them to get night vision as long as you're looking through them? Okay, you look through the goggles of night, and you see a lot of leaves. Like maybe you startle as like a big bug like flies in front of your goggles. You see like boulders. This area seems very rocky. It's a very rocky part of the Pluto Weald. There's tall cypress trees, little like knees jutting out of the ground, and you see like a little pond, sort of maybe like 20-25 feet in front of you. You don't see any like tigers or anything like stalking through the dark, like hunting your party or anything like that. But it just seems like a regular old swath of wilderness, of sort of like unsettled or uninhabited swamp, as far as you can tell. V?
V's just gonna get out again. This isn't really her lifestyle, so she's like, I don't know, going around, pulls out her bedroll, and just, I don't know, it's kind of trying to follow the lead of probably Manaya and Oka, just standing by them, not really knowing what to do with herself.
Okay, Manaya and Oka, you finish pulling Mosscrawler fully onto shore. Do the four of you set up camp by the shore, or do you go farther into the Pluto Weald.
I think it'd be safest to stay by the river
Okay.
Can make a
and
fast
just
getaway.
do as we did before. What was that?
We can make a fast getaway if we need one.
Mm-hmm. And just do as we did the previous night. Tie up our beds and everything up off the ground.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good. So the 4 of you set up camp here. There's no magic any of you can cast, like a tiny hut or anything like that, right? Okay. So you just set up tent
We're
as
not
usual.
that cool.
Do you set up a watch order? Okay. So who takes the first shift?
I feel
Manaya.
like.
Should,
Okay.
Okay.
should it be 2 and 2 though? Is that what you were gonna say, Dewey?
I was gonna say we should let Oka rest.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh, Oka would insist on taking a watch.
Okay, so Oka and Manaya, you take first watch. Well,
No, I mean,
huh? Okay, so who's taking the first watch with Manaya?
I think it was just a question. I think we're doing 4 watches.
Okay, four watches throughout the night. So 1 person watching per night. I mean, per watch.
Mhm.
Is that the plan?
Yes.
Okay. So Manaya, you take first watch. Oka, Dewey, and V, you go to sleep. Same thing happens. Oka, Dewey, and V, you have the same dream. At this point, I don't even feel like I need to say it again.
Wait, why? How?
What?
I figure we if we're taking like quarters of the night, we wake up Oka before the dream usually starts, like the
Yeah.
so that they don't have to dream.
What do you mean?
If it's interrupted, then we would like if it's interrupted before 8 a.m. we wouldn't have it, right?
No, you just wake up prematurely.
Oh.
Yeah.
So Oka, V, and Dewey all are starting to have this dream.
Yes.
When Manaya's watch is over, she goes to wake up V.
Okay. V, you're woken up from the middle of this nightmare.
Okay, so you
Yep.
can wake up out of it. That's
Yes.
good to know.
Yeah, yeah, you can.
Once you're in it, you're not stuck.
No, you're not stuck. You can be woken out of it. Manaya, you shake V awake, who looks perhaps a little pale and sweaty from the dream. It's the same nightmare as always. The battlefield, the blood, the stranger, the wings, the eyes, the 8 of you, the death, the gods. You wake up, take your shift. Who's next?
V is going to go over to Dewey and wake Dewey up.
Same thing. Dewey, you wake up from this dream, you take your watch, and then you wake up Oka? Okay. You wake up Oka. Oka, you're the last to be awoken from this dream. But it's like, same nightmare as always. It's awful and horrible. Dewey wakes you up, and you finish out camp for the rest of the night. You don't really hear, nothing horrible happens this night. No monsters attack. You don't hear, you hear some distant screaming, sure. But it's too far away for you to really be able to do anything about it without leaving camp entirely. And finally, Oka, having taken the final watch, the next morning dawns sunlessly as the black night just recedes, and a gray light shines over everything. Manaya, V, and Dewey, Oka, unless you wake them up earlier, they will all wake up at the same time at 8.
Oka, I think, will not have the sense of mind to try to wake them up
Okay,
earlier.
so Manaya, Dewey, and V, the 3 of you, jolt awake, right on time, right on schedule at 8 a.m., and it's time to go. What do the 4 of you do?
8 a.m. As always, let's get going.
Dewey makes them a breakfast on the go.
Okay,
Aw.
that's cute. The 4 of you pile into Mosscrawler and continue down the Black Tongue. What do you do or say before you get to the weave-spun nest?
Is there I'm curious about the people passing in the boats. I'm curious about what the traffic is like, about is there anything super out of place? How soon do we get that do we get that feeling of dread at all? What's happening here? I guess just what's going on.
Okay. So as you float on Mosscrawler down the Black Tongue, as morning begins to dawn, you see more boats. Big ones, small ones, kayaks, and even you see a ship also make its way downriver. There are some like on like that pass you, some behind you, a lot like going the other way if this were like a 2-lane like road, because this is basically the Swan Road as the Vikings would call it. You see quite a few boats. All of them look like perhaps they belong to the court. Their hulls and their wooden sides are painted black, with some golden and white decorations of paint as well. You see just like people dressed in the black robes, draperies, and vestments of the Court of Ravens. Children, youths, adults, and elders alike. There's no sort of discrimination based on age, just in various boats and vessels. Everyone, like 99% of the people you pass seem to be natives of the Court of Ravens. And in fact, your group gets quite a few looks. They can tell that you're outsiders. They can tell you're not from here. Even if you are in a court vessel. You get quite a few looks, quite a few like whispers. You know, you see a few like children like pointing at you and like tugging on their parents' like sleeves, like over the water, over the boats. But the parents like pull their kids back into the vessels. And everyone here, you know, the way of dress is simple, humble, understated, but there's something very, like, almost, I mean, to outsiders, dreary about how they carry themselves. There's almost like an air of moroseness across all of, like, the denizens of the court, based on your outsiders' eyes. And they all sort of like, their shawls are, you know, very like, they all look like they're dressed for a funeral in a sense, you know? But it's not possible for all of them to be going to a funeral, you know, wherever they're headed. As you wind your way further down the Black Tongue, you also pass like larger, but appears to be perhaps like merchant vessels. Like those bigger boats have crates on them and sailors, like moving on and down the deck. That sense of dread is not there necessarily, but as you get closer and closer to the weave-spun nest, it's like a pressure seems to be exerted from deeper inland. It's not the same kind of ominous, foreboding, vicious pressure that you felt from the echo of Vinash of Dabathati, the three-headed god of mountains and war. This kind of pressure is more like, almost like a fog or a mist rolling out from the jungled depths of the Peludo Weald. The weave for you, V, and Manaya, you can sense it a little too. You haven't really ever been able to sense it before. Seems to be pulling heavy. Again, similar to how it's like there's a gravitational well somewhere and you are magically, inexorably like drawn toward it. There's just something that is very heavy is what it feels like, and the four of you can sense it in your soul a little bit. And as you get closer and closer to where the weave-spun nest is, the chittering of birds and bugs begins to grow a little quiet.
At this feeling starting, Manaya coughs and is like, "Is this what you all felt for Vinash?"
Different, but similar.
God, it feels like my soul is tied up all wrong. Like somebody put a knot in the mast.
Yeah, this is... Before it felt like being just around so much electricity, and this is more just like being smashed slowly into the ground.
Mm-hmm. If Vinash was rage, this feeling almost feels like grief. It's something very heavy sitting on your soul, sitting on your heart, like pressing it down.
Does Vinash stir at all? Like, do I feel anything?
Oka, as Mosscrawler draws closer and closer, like farther down the Black Tongue, yeah, you feel a little bit of something begin to rumble around in your chest. But it's very quiet.
Okay, has heartburn.
It's like heartburn. It's a little bit of acid reflux.
Oka hasn't exactly tried just... Like, they've always asked for something, but they're just gonna try to listen. Like just like as they're like rowing at the front, I believe. If like
in the back with Manaya.
Okay.
For the engine and the steering.
Okay, cool. As they're, you know, doing the rowing, it's like such a methodical thing that I feel like they could just kind of like let it go, like let some of the forefront go and just like and try to just listen.
Yeah, Oka, do you close your eyes or anything? What are you doing to listen?
I think they're just watching you know, in some like meditations you like watch waves go. They're just like looking at the water as it goes past the boat, and as they like every stroke, and like it's super methodical.
Mm-hmm.
Like finding
As
the rhythm.
I don't know how much Oka knows about paddling, but at least as much as Manaya has taught them, it's good to make little whirlpools with the paddle as you go. So maybe they're staring at those.
Oh yeah.
Just go past on like the wake of the boat.
You watch the disturbed surface of the water, the little eddies and swirls caused by your paddling, as you try to use that as like a focus to tap into whatever Vinash is doing or saying or feeling within your soul. And as you focus on that, looking at the eddies, you feel something, an emotion that is not yours, stirring within you. And it is almost like a kind of eagerness. Vinash is eager to get to the weave-spun nest. So, before the four of you dock your boat, you have to make the rest of the journey on foot. There's no like inlet that makes its way to the weave-spun nest. Before you do that, what do the four of you do for the rest of your journey on the Black Tongue? Do you try to wave down a merchant ship? Do you try to talk to other boats on the Black Tongue?
Could we take our break right now and try to think about this stuff on our break?
Yeah, sounds good. Okay, so we leave our party sort of drifting along the Black Tongue. We will be back in 10 minutes or so. Enjoy our little Fed art reel, and thank you to everyone who has gifted subs or subbed to us. We really appreciate it, and we will see you in 10 minutes. Casts, don't forget to mute your mics, or rather, I'll play Kai's music.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay. So we will be back. Peace. See you in 10.
If I go fast instead of slowly, instead of last, if my father survives me, if I explode, if I go up in smoke, if I go quietly, when I go quiet, give my heart to my mother. She'll know what to do. Give my songs to my lover. She'll know what to do. Give my bones to my father. My poems to my sister. My love to one another. Give it all to each other. eraser. I was the leg, I was the table, I was the cloth, and I was the indigo, 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 and I was the color girl, 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 and I was the color girl. It's the blue light when we're out with our friends. It's the blue light asking where the night should end. It's the blue light saying, come over. It's the blue light and my coat on my shoulders. Lying in your room, playing with your hair. Lying to myself, saying that there's nothing there. There's nothing that we share. No reason to care, no way of knowing where this is going. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? What are we doing here? What are we doing? It's the cold light of the moon when I'm walking home. It's the warm light through my window when I wake up alone. It's the white lies when our friends ask what's going on. It's the white lies when I say we're just fucking and that's all. Laughing in your room, riding in your car, promising myself gather round, roll a fat one, pour the shots, give this death all you've got. Let the liquor loosen your mouth, make a bow with friendly tongues. Call your lover, say you're sorry, then go back to making fun. Your friends are drunk and useless. Welcome to senior year. The night is young and ruthless, and you want to disappear in the hallway, in the hall, in the hallway, in the hall. You can hear them all around you, broken hearts and blushing sighs. Truth's a hard pill to swallow, but it'll still get you high. I know a faraway land, hidden from even the moon, somewhere queer and quiet, a place you can lick your wounds. In the hallway, in the hall, in the hallway, in the hall. Twilight zone, a place to be alone, or highway cutting through the noise in bedrooms. Chamber of secrets, come close and lean in, tell them. But if you tell them now, with your words or with your mouth, you should know it's now or never. You can't stay here forever. In the hallway, in the hall, 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 in the hallway, can't stay in the hall, you can't stay in the hallway, can't stay in the hall, you can't stay, you can't stay here, you can't stay, you can't stay here, you can't stay, you can't stay here, you can't stay, you can't stay here. Doom de doom 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 de doom doom doom.
Hello, 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 everybody. Our overlay's a little messed up. Let me fix that real fast. It's so great to see all of your non-existent, beautiful digital faces yet again. Welcome back to episode 4 of our main campaign, where we are going to figure out what the heck is happening in the Court of Ravens. So just as a reminder for content warnings for this episode, we have a few of them. They may include for this episode and for the campaign suicide, fantasy violence, death of loved ones, emotional trauma and baggage, cults and cult-like behavior, anxiety and panic attacks described in detail, poverty and classism, a refugee crisis, natural disasters, and economic injustice. So just be aware that, you know, that is content we might be grappling with. And before we hop right in, is there anything else I'm missing from my lovely players?
Said orally really quick. Other than that, no.
Yeah, I did say that very quickly. So at any moment, just as a reminder, if you're like, what were those? Those sound pretty intense. You can access content warnings with !CW in the chat at any time. And yeah, let's get right back into it. Oka, Manaya, Dewey, and V. There is a thump and a sort of grounding noise as Moss Crawler docks itself against the shore of the Black Tongue. This sort of like sense of like heaviness pervading the atmosphere, like a fog sort of roiling into the depths of your soul, growing a little bit heavier as the closer inland you get. And Manaya and Oka, Dewey, and V, you arrive, you get off the boat, and I'm assuming Manaya and Oka are going to try to find a place to lash the boat as you have to finish your journey to the Weave-Spun Nest on foot.
Are there docks here? Or like, did we find a place with docks? I don't feel like we would have just like gone into
like on a random part of the shore. Yeah, okay, why not? Yeah, let's say there's like a mini harbor. It's not like the big, huge harbors with like big ships that you're used to on open water here, Manaya. But there are some like little like river. There are some river docks here. You see a couple of kayaks, a couple of canoes and boats sort of lashed against the docks. You see like a little like up on stilts, a little shack area where a couple of court denizens are moving in and out. They seem to either be putting their boats on shore or taking their boats out to water. So let's say this little dock is the area that Moss Crawler enters into as the 4 of you get inland. What do the 4 of you do?
I think Oka is gonna go try to find the dockmaster, you know, to like pay the dockmaster to watch over your boat on the dock.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But then when they like reach for their gold pouch, they like, you know, they do a circle as they go around. They're like, motherfucker, and they go back.
You realize you threw all your gold to the courier, all like 120 pieces
and the whole
of gold.
bag too,
and the whole ass bag, the gold pouch. You approach the dockmaster, who is kind of yes, Manaya.
Manaya's going to join them as well.
Great. Dewey and V, are you also joining, or are you going to hang back?
V will watch the boat and look for anybody who might be suspicious.
Okay, sounds good.
Dewey watches the boat and V.
Okay, great, wonderful. So let's do Oka and Manaya first. So Oka and Manaya, the 2 of you approach the dockmaster, who is this kind of like an elder, a grung. Not like round like Squeak is, but kind of like looking almost like a poisonous tree frog sort of grung. She's like very old. She's leaning on a cane, and she's sort of draped in the same like black shroud. So pretty much everyone at the court is. And as you approach, you know, she finishes like lecturing someone and goes, "Don't forget to lock up the shack next time. We don't want any wild boars rummaging through our things. Hello there. How can I help the 2 of you?"
Hello, we're looking to dock our boat here. We're here to pay the fee.
Oh, yes, certainly. Well, let's see. You smell like you're not from here, are you?
Yes, we're travelers on our way to the Weave-Spun Nest.
It is... We've spun... For what purpose? And she sort of like squints at the 2 of you and immediately looks suspicious. You're not from the championship, are you?
Oh, no, I'd have a more personal stake than whatever those rascals are up to.
That horrible, awful derby. They're trying to race hippos, or I don't even know, all over our lovely Paludo Weald. They think they own this place, but they're not even from here.
They're racing hippos?
Yeah, well, not just hippos. Crocodiles, alligators, land sharks, bull sharks, catfishes. Apparently it's going to be a whole thing in a couple weeks, and, you know, our court, we don't like to use violence to deal with problems. I know our most powerful priests, well, they've all but lost their powers.
Of course, that's horrible.
Yes, I know it is awful.
About the fee, though.
Yes. It will be, well, for how long do you need us to watch over it? It's a gold piece a day.
Manaya glances at Oka and is like, should we, like, a week, maybe?
Oh, we'll have to get back in to get to open green water, right?
You're headed to open green water? Why are you making a... Alright, the
Green
weave
open water.
What business do you have at the weave spun nest, if you don't mind me asking?
Manaya glances at Oka again.
Oka's like, oh shit, you're asking me.
Uh,
We're here to, pay our respects.
Are you here to convert? And at this, she looks very excited. Oh, we haven't had many converts since the Cataclysm.
That actually is very surprising. There were a whole lot of converts at the gate.
Well, I don't think many of them actually want to convert, though, from Talmud worshipping their three-headed one, or from the championship. I swear, Scott and Nectus are my least favorite of the 8. I just don't like the things they preach. Risk and reward. I want a bunch of hogwash. Look what culture they've inspired. Oh, those thrill seekers, hedonists. Anyway.
Is it not ill to speak? Is it not bad luck to speak ill of?
Pah! I'm an old woman. I'm about to croak. Any day now. Well, if the good lady will allow me. And she sort of like sighs deeply and says, this horrible, profane undeath. And she spits when she says that. It's sacrilegious is what it is. We've been doing our best to figure out exactly why it's been happening. But of course, none of our priests can contact Our Lady.
And where exactly those priests live in the nest, right?
Well, if you truly wanted to convert, you should brush up on some court culture and law. Oh no, all of our most important dukes and duchesses reside in Blackspire. But every season there is a changing of the guard at the weave-spun nest. A priest from each court presides there, protecting our holy site.
Well, then the change of the guard must have just happened.
Yes, quite recently, actually.
During the Cataclysm.
What? Yes. Why, are you interested in converting, becoming a priest, and guarding the nest? Is that why you're going?
Ideally, yes.
Really?
Yes.
Both of you?
Yes. All 4 of us will be the new 4, I think.
Oh, well, that's wonderful. We've had such a shortage of youths and adults recently. But please, you know what? It's on us. We'll watch over your canoe for however long you need as you go there and you throw in your lot.
Are you quite sure?
Absolutely positive. We need more young people in the court. All the young people want to go to the championship.
I'll have a gold piece for your trouble, and Oka does the thing.
Do you have any gold, Oka?
They try. They like go to their pocket and they're like, motherfucker.
Yeah, Manaya throws one.
Oh, thank you so much. And on that, let's go to Dewey and V. V, you're looking around for some suspicious folk. Are you looking around as V or are you looking around as Ronnie?
No, I'm V. I mean, this crusty old chrysalis robe that's all just like...
It's all muddy and fucked up. Yeah, it's falling apart. Okay, yeah, V, you are looking around. This dock is actually fairly busy, let's say, and there's, why not? Because there's quite, let's say there are several docks here, and several shacks. This dock master, she seems, that Minai and Oka are talking to, she seems to preside over this entire, like, mini, I don't want to call it a harbor, it's not big enough to be a harbor, dock, let's say. But there are like several other like elders walking around collecting fees from people who are, you know, leaving with their boats or bringing their boats in. And you cast your gaze around. V, why don't you make a perception check for me?
All right. That's just straight up 9.
A 9. Looking around, the only person that seems to stand out to you is rather large, and she's actually currently embroiled in an argument with someone on the other side of the docks. She's embroiled in an argument with 2 other, like, pretty large-looking dudes, but they are dwarfed by her. And the dudes are standing in front of, there are 4 people happening in this argument. The 2 big, burly-looking dudes are standing in front of a small, let's see. What did I put down for them? A small rat folk guy. Kind of with like a rat's face, you know what I mean? Like a little, like, he's got like his paws that he's rubbing and his whiskers are twitching. And the tall person who was embroiled in an argument with this rat folk's maybe like lackeys or something, she is very muscular, and she is shrouded in these like almost like feather like pauldrons. She's got like leather armor on, and she has like the sleeveless armor, and you can see on her like muscular, like kind of like gray arms, because she is a drow, like golden tattoos of like feathers, and she has like long, like kind of wild black hair, and she has like a long, like a wicked whip sort of attached to her hip that has like spikes coming out of it a little bit, and like daggers as well. Her arms are crossed, and it appears she's like barring passage deeper in to the Paluto Weald from these 3 people, and they're arguing. You're a little too far away to hear what exactly they're saying, but this is what you see. What do you do, V? And Dewey, you see this as well. You like track V's gaze to the other side of the docks.
Dewey, would you mind watching the boat for a second?
Yes. Where are you going?
We
just got here.
I know. I'm hearing heated discussion down there. I want to see if perhaps I can help some new friends settle the waters. Like Manaya said, you don't want crew fighting with each other, so maybe I can make them happy together.
Okay, Dewey, do you take that? Do you buy that?
I assume V just like starts moving towards it. I'm like, I can't leave the boat. I can't leave it unattended.
So you have a conflict of conscience. But I think Oka and Manai are still talking to the dockmaster at this point, so you are left there, but you're keeping an eye on V. You stand by the boat, though. V, you make your way over, and as you get closer, you can sort of hear the argument. One of the buff dudes, clearly not from the court. Neither of these 3 people are from the court. They are dressed in kind of like, you see one of them has like a pauldron with huge spikes, and the pauldron is made of like a skull with like spikes stunning out of it, very, I think like post-apocalyptic, almost like Mad Max Fury Road sort of like garb. They're dressed in like kind of like BDSM, like leather, like chains and stuff like that, like gear, like that. They look like
edgy teenagers.
Yeah, one look, they're from the championship. Edgy teenagers who watched Mad Max Fury Road one time. Like, C, that's who C is. V, you approach and you hear one of the big dudes. He's kind of gruff looking. And as you get closer, you sort of catch a whiff of, what is that, salt? But like these 2 big dudes smell very salty for some reason. Like they've been dunked in the ocean and left there to brine for like several weeks. As you get closer, one of the dudes goes, "What are you gonna do? Stop all 3 of us? I don't think you can, sister." And this big, tall drow woman, she just takes one look at the guy and says, "I'd like to see you try to get past me."
Friends, hold on. Hello everybody. Hi, welcome. It sounds like things are a little tense here, friends. Can I help you all with something?
All four of them turn to look at you. And the rat folk looking guy, he is the most like well-dressed of the three. He's got like, the spikes going up, but he's also got like gold just draped all over him. One look at this guy, he is worth probably 300 gold, just based on what the jewelry you can see. And he's got this crown on. He looks very elaborate, very flamboyant, and he looks extremely upset to be standing in a soggy marsh. He turns to you and he says, "Ah, yes, finally a voice of reason here. Are you also, you don't appear to be a denizen of the court. Are you also here for the derby?"
Let's, to talk about such things out in the open would be a little bit of a mistake. Would you consider that not to be so? So I am here for the opportunity to make Andake a better place. Let's just call it that. Why not?
Hold on.
Are you
Those
also here
robes.
to make Andake a better place?
The two big buff dudes turn their eyes onto you. One of them squints and goes, "You're not one of those loony cult people, are ya? Because we're not interested." And the other one goes, "Yeah, Scott and Nexus all the way." And they like fist bump.
When it comes to the gods and goddesses, I take a little bit of this, I take a little bit of that. But trust me, when it comes to cults, believe me, I actually stole this vest off of some type of priest. I think they call themselves like the Crispalus or something. I don't know. I killed him and took his robe because it looked nice.
All four of them at once, they say in unison, united against you, they say, "Sacrilege!" All four of them, they turn to you, and then they look at each other, and the woman looks very upset that she said that at the same time as the other three. But the woman turns to you, and like her golden eyes sort of glimmer, almost with recognition, and she goes, "Noksherzo, V, you were with those two people from the monster fighting pits, weren't you?"
Well, I
riots?
don't like to advertise, that I single-handedly saved Dabathati with my friends, but, when in Rome, you're caught in the act, here I am. Rome wouldn't exist, I'm sorry. when
in the court.
when in Dabathati, right? You do as Dabathatians do.
This woman pauses, and looks over your shoulder and sees Manaya and Oka, like on the other side of the dock, also sees Dewey, and she goes, "Well, the strings of fate, I suppose. Listen, V, these three people from the championship are giving Nabalians a bad name. They wish to go to the weave-spun nest and set it up as one of the obstacles for their ridiculous derby." "Yeah, I hear the nest has got huge. You could flip the lid, and do all sorts of cool shit off the..." And like the other guy goes, "Yeah, it's gonna be awesome." And this drow woman, just sort of looks at you. V raises an eyebrow and sort of like, "Is this really the company you're trying to save?"
I mean, I was coming over here to turn our friends here. They smell seasoned enough. I was getting ready to turn up some flames and roast them, but
The ratfolk man speaks up. He says, "Doth mine ears deceive me, or are you threatening me and my associates here?"
I never said such a thing. I just said I was simply coming over here for a barbecue. What I'm barbecuing, that remains to be seen. That depends on you and the choices that you make in your life.
When you say that, the ratfolk guy seems to like reach for like a sword, like strapped to his waist, and the two other guys, they are not armed, interestingly enough, but they turn to you. And they sort of like glance at each other. They're like, they like take out their hands, and you see their nails are really long and ragged, almost like claws, but they're both like human, And at this point, the drow woman goes, "Look, let's not spill blood on the shores of the Black Tongue. V, you're right. Let's take this argument elsewhere. Perhaps your companions will like to come with." And at that point, Oka and Manai, the two of you finish tossing the coin to the dockmaster, who takes the gold and goes, "Oh, well, anything for new recruits of the court, new converts. Yes, yes. I think I have a scroll of the Raven Queen here somewhere. Please, let me grab it for you." As she retreats into the dockhouse, and this is when the two of you have a brief break from her. Dewey, you see all of this happen. What do you do?
Dewey's like standing as far away from the boat as he can without like within arm's reach still, and like he's trying to get V's attention, and he's also trying to get Oka and Manaya's attention, and he's panicking, and I think he like pulls his sword, his flying sword out of the sheath, and is like, "Can you go get her, please?" And like the sword flies over and like
Go get her.
it goes horizontal and like pulls V backwards maybe.
Yeah,
That's what he's trying to do.
You hear in your head, "Yes, physical manhandling. I love it. Thank you, Father. Let me cut her. Let me bleed her flesh. Let me kill her."
No.
Okay, fine. Just kidding.
Thanks.
And yeah, V, a sword flies out and begins to like pull you back. This drow woman raises an eye, turns to the other three and says, "If you want to spill blood, so be it. But away from the children." And the ratfolk guy sort of like raises an eye at the flying sword that came out to like pull V back, and he goes, "Well, you know what? Ace has never said no to a little bit of blood." And slides his sword back into its sheath and like jerks his head toward the two buff guys, and they follow the drow and V. V, you're being pulled backward. The drow woman follows you, and these three people from the championship also follow you. At this point, Oka and Manaya, you see Rev.
Oka is like, hey, is that
Yeah.
for real?
I would have thought the lady
It's
would have
V.
kept her
It's
there.
V. Can you guys get? She's over there, please. She's gonna get herself in trouble. That person looks scary. They all look really scary. They look really powerful. Please. She's gonna get herself killed.
If anyone's
Meanwhile-
going to die out of us, V's going to be the last person. You already know that. But shall we? When I looks at Oka.
Oka's like, good god. And maybe we just kind of like, they fold their arms and like lean against the tree trunk that is Manaya's body. Like coolly.
Sure, yeah, trying to like look cool in front of this like hot drow woman. Big buff woman Strega from fucking Castlevania looking ass motherfucker. So V, what do you do?
When the sword's like all of a sudden flies in front of her and starts like pushing her back, she's like, "Holy!" I have to use the right accent.
She's like, "Holy cow!" You lose your accent.
It's a real
Jeepers.
Oh. What a holy sword of Rorke! What is going on here? What is this thing? What?
As you're like
You're
stumbling
lucky.
backward.
You're lucky this sword is here between us. Otherwise, I'd flame you like with a giant fireball, friends. But come. Let's go. Let's talk.
Yeah. At this point, all of you have congregated. Rev, as you know her, from the court, from Dabathati in the monster fighting pits with you and Oka, nods at you. Oka nods at you. Manaya says, "It's quite a coincidence to see the two of you here again."
Right, I would have thought the lady would have kept you there.
Well, she's not as strong as she thinks. Or rather, she underestimated me. And at that point, the door to the little like shack of the dock opens again, and the growing lady comes out and shoves like a scroll in both of your hands, Oka and Manaya. "I only have two, but please, these should be the beginning scriptures for Our Lady." And she stops when she sees Rev. "Duchess? You're back? I thought you left." No, I'm not back. I'm just here. Turns out my mission takes me back home. But I won't be staying. "Really? Oh, but the court hasn't been the same without you." Well, very well. And at this point, like, another like person is like, "Hey, I've been waiting forever to pay my fee." She goes, "Yes, I'll be there in just a moment." "Well, it was wonderful to see you, Duchess Stiltwalker." Just Rev. But the Grun Lady, like, hops off, like, leaning on her cane. And at this point, the Ratfolk man goes, Ace tires of these frivolities. Are we going to spill blood, or are we not?
We're spilling blood. V, what the fuck?
I was simply making new friends, and we have some friends who are engaged in activities unbecoming of members of this court of ravens, and me and our friend from Dabathati was just trying to convince them that maybe not such a good idea, that maybe they should do what's best for Andake.
You're friends with the Duchess?
I'm not the Duchess of this place. And Rev looks very uncomfortable, actually. Perhaps, like, calling the four of you back to when Oka was very uncomfortable at being referred to as a prince. Rev goes, it doesn't really matter anymore, but yes, I'm originally from the court, but no more. I have a mission
like
of my
obvious.
own. Well, yeah, well, because I do pay my respects to where I'm from, but my personal mission takes me elsewhere, and as coincidence would have it, it takes me back here. You're lucky you don't have the head of a dog. She sort of addresses the rat folk, and that you're a rodent instead. Otherwise, I'd behead you on the spot. Whoa, what happened to not spilling blood on these shores, stilt walker? Don't call me that. What are you gonna do? Kill us? I'd like to see you try. We can't die here.
There are many fates worse than death, my friend.
Yeah, like having a fucked up face like yours.
I'd punch him.
Good one, bro.
Oh!
Okay, make an unarmed attack.
How
roll.
do I do that?
Plus strength. And I suppose you're a proficient in unarmed strikes.
I guess a 13 probably.
It hits.
Hit.
Yeah, it hits.
Oh, cool!
So you hit him for 1 bludgeoning damage. Where are you hitting this dude?
In his dumb bitch face.
You hit him in you punch up because he's big, at his dumb bitch face. It's just like sort of like punching like a stone slab. He goes, ah! And he spits out some blood. Not the best you got. And he like cracks his knuckles and like looks menacingly at you.
All right.
No.
All right. Look, we each have our business here. And as some of our business is, I mean, I looked at the Nabalians, more important than others, and maybe a little more. How do you say? What is the word? Like, a little more pressing. I propose that we part ways, for now. If anything's going to happen, it's going to happen at the We've Spun Nest. You and your derby, and us and our more pressing matters. So let us take it there.
Well, you heard her, boys. Last one to the We've Spun Nests, a rotten fucking dragon egg. Says the rat folk, and he jerks his head, and the three of them begin to take off. Like, the pastor, Rev goes, oh.
Rev, your mission.
Yeah.
I think we might have similar goals. We should talk about this in a more private space.
I agree. But we should get to the We've Spun Nest as quickly as possible. Those three look like they wouldn't hesitate to crack some skulls. And the 4 protectors of the nest, they're not trained in combat. Even if they were, their magic has long since run dry since the Raven Queen left us.
They're the young ones. We're in summer.
Yeah, so summer would be like youth, like teenagers.
Let's walk and talk.
Nods. And the 5 of you take off? Mm-hmm. Okay. You walk like those, you know. It's funny because you take off just a few moments after the rat folk and those 2 guys running.
We take a different path. So
okay, cool. Rev takes you through a different path. She like knows this place like the back of her hand. She just goes, I really didn't like the look on those 3 guys, especially those 2. They smelled awful, like they'd been drenched in some sort of horrible saltwater brine.
You ever just meet somebody with a perfectly punchable face?
Yes, actually. I don't suppose the four of you have seen a man with a dog's head anytime soon.
Do all of us just look at Dewey?
I mean, it's
Oka
up to
looks
you.
at Dewey.
Do any of you know?
I think you said
Oh,
you told
I
him. You
thought
told him
you
about
said
the
Dr.
Myriads.
Luce's
Yeah.
office.
Do you know what he looks like?
Did you describe him
Did
to
you
us?
describe the Myriad, or did you just call him a demon?
I don't think I just.
You
Well-
didn't say like the well.
What would you have said, like, then this dog-headed assassin guy?
Okay, sure. I'm sure it would have come out at some point.
Okay.
Okay.
So, do all of you look at Dewey? Has your sword returned to your sheath at this point? Have you caught your sword back? Okay. Yeah, you can feel your sword like thrumming a little bit against your waist. Very excited at the prospect of looming violence. And at Rev's words, everyone looks at Dewey. Dewey, do you say anything?
Maybe. He's Rev's is like, have you seen a dog-headed man? And Dewey's like, maybe.
She stops, like in the middle of like this trail through the swamp. She turns to look at you. She says, "Maybe."
How many dog-headed people are there out there?
Not a lot. And she strides up to you. She's huge. She's very, like, she casts a shadow, like, over your quivering feathered body. And you see her hand, like, go toward, like, her whip a little bit. She hasn't taken it out, but she seems to, like, gripping it, almost as, like, a source of comfort. She goes, where?
Back in Dabathati? Actually, wait, no. Out, just outside of the court, too.
I knew it. That's why I'm back here. I'm tracking him.
Well, isn't he tracking you,
Wait.
Dewey?
What?
Yeah. Wait, why do you... Are you for that guy or against?
Against. I'm going
Okay.
to kill him.
Great, we should stick together.
Why is he after you? I mean, aside from the fact that he's evil and would do anything to bring more pain and suffering into this world. But why you?
I guess he took a contract with... He's a hitman?
An assassin? I didn't know they hired demons to be assassins.
Either. But that's where I find myself. That's what my life has led me to now.
I agree, we should stick together. If he's hunting you, and I'm hunting him, I don't mean to call you bait, Dewey, but perhaps it's in both of our best interests to work together for now. Anyway, the weave spun nest. I'll lead you there. As I said. She looks a little shaken at this news, but also like a little like excited. So if anyone would like, you can try to roll. You can roll insight on her to see what is her beef with the Myriad.
Yeah.
I think Oka was just going like, Dewey? Rev? Dewey? Rev? What's happening here?
What'd you get?
14.
14 from Dewey.
22.
22 from Oka.
19.
19 from V. Manaya, are you rolling? Yeah, Manaya, you're too sweet. You're like, this isn't my business. She'll tell us if she wants to tell us.
Manaya fucking minds her own business.
She respects boundaries.
Manaya, the gang pokes their nose and Manaya minds her own business. So Oka and Dewey, that's all you sort of really get from her. There's definitely like, it's personal. It is very personal between Rev and the Myriad, whatever it is. Oka and V, based on your roles, it is not just personal. He wronged her in a huge way. He is very likely the reason she left it. I mean, he's the reason she left the court, because she left the court to find him, to kill him. This is like a...
Can't relate to that at all.
Yeah, so there's a lot, that I think Oka, perhaps you can even relate to Rev on, like, the whole, like, what's this whole thing about her being a duchess? And maybe V can relate on the whole, like, on a mission to kill someone. Sort of like that. So Rev's broad back, is all you sort of see as she, like, trudges forward and sort of, like, carves, like, a path through the swamp. She sort of casts a look over her shoulder and addresses you, Manai, and says, "You might want to get another boot. We're going to be walking for a while."
It's a touchy subject.
Ah, very well.
Okay, kind of like
I'll
pats Manaya.
I'll be all right.
If you
Socks are
insist.
made to get wet.
Well, I think I might have a spare. I don't know if your foot size will fit, but... and she, like, slings her pack over and, like, rifles through it and pulls out...
Rev. My socks were made to get wet. I'm a sailor. I'll be all right.
There's just a lot of thorns here, but if you insist. And she zips up her pack again and continues leading the four of you toward the weave-spun nest. As you walk, the presence presses heavier. Like, the four of you are like atoms bouncing around in a room, and whatever this is, it's a force that is slowly, like, pressing you down, down, down. And as you continue deeper into the Pluto Weald, the chirping of birds and the buzzing of insects seems to quiet down. Maybe there's like a stretch of quiet, and then Rev just goes, Something's wrong here. I don't... And then she goes quiet.
Rev, what do you know about the Paragons?
She glances at you, and you see that all of you, the pressure is similar, but it's not so oppressive. Maybe there's like a little bit of like sweat coming down your faces, your heart's beginning to race a little bit more, but when you look at Rev, you know, she turns to face you, she is like drenched. Like her face is like, she is sweating a lot. And she's like breathing kind of hard, you know? Like almost like she's on like the edge of like a panic attack or something. The Paragons? Tales from my childhood. Why?
Tell me what you know. Let's take your mind off of this.
Well, they arose during the Gambit of Queens. Everyone knows that. 8 champions selected by the 8 gods of Andake to embody their ideals and serve the people, not the queens. And for the longest time, they did. Until they died, and the mantle hasn't been passed on since because there hasn't been a need. Imbued with powers beyond any mortal's recognition, heroes of every sense of the word. Why bring this up, Manaya?
Manaya glances at the party as if asking permission to go on.
Oka nods.
So does V.
The reason I thought our missions were intertwined is that we're sort of collecting aspects of the gods. We have at least one paragon among us. I say this with trust, and I say this trusting that this information will stay between us.
I'm confused. Aspects of the gods? The gods are gone.
The gods are gone, but not completely. A part of them was trapped here in Andake.
What?
When we were in...
Sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Okay. When we were in Dabathati, Oh my god! He is!
He is GMing!
He's GM now. I'm sorry, Manaya, please continue. I just needed everyone to see that.
When we were in Dabathati, we told everyone the rage was some crystal that we smashed. That was a lie. I don't like to lie. It was an aspect of... well...
It was an aspect of Vanash.
What?
Is Vanash louder now as we get closer?
Yeah, I was about to pan to you actually. So as you continue walking and talking, Oka,
This shouldn't hurt me because I'm not actually using
Yes,
the power.
yes.
I'm just letting
Don't worry.
it rise
Don't
to
worry.
the surface. Okay, thank you.
Oka, between you and Rev, you're not sure who looks more fucked up.
Oh boy.
You are also, everyone sees now, Oka, even though it's summer, so it's pretty humid, but Oka is pouring sweat. Almost like they were drenched again in the river. And their pupils are like really, really, really blown wide. Like, and your heart is like thumping like mad in your chest, Oka, as you get closer to the weave-spun nest, though you don't see it quite yet. And you can feel Vinash in you stirring and stirring, and it's the eagerness, the excitement is just like, it's like there's like you swallowed a ball of flame.
If I like let that kind of just like jump a little, like I feel like Oka keeps it really low.
Yes.
But if they just let it go like vum, 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 vum.
You let it come up, and then all of you sort of feel like a huge pressure poof emanate from Oka, as Oka, your eyes whoosh, like
that
yeah.
Not that much!
I mean, I don't know. Do you want to try to control it?
Yeah!
Okay, so roll.
Oh god.
Roll charisma.
Is it gonna hurt me?
Roll charisma.
Oh
no,
god.
this is just
This
to see
is
if
not
you
my
can control
fault,
it.
everyone.
Yeah, it's just roll charisma.
Chari-
Roll charisma.
Charisma.
Negative
Yes.
2.
Oh boy.
It was a 10.
Yeah, as light just shoots out of your eyes, and there's like the smell of static immediately in the air, and V and Dewey, your feathers begin to blow up, and Manaya, your hair also begins to like frizzle a little by your scalp, and Rev's hair starts like getting, she goes, whoa, what the? And she like steps back, and Oka like sparking off of your skin, almost like you're back in that chamber with Ravi again. Yeah, and when you speak, it is a double speech.
Oh god.
It is like Vinash is also speaking underneath your voice. Oka, what do you say?
Oka says, "Oh great, go back.
And it gets sucked back in you, and you, all the static disappears. Rev's dagger is out. What in the name of the 8 was that?
I'm sorry, I meant for that to be like a lot more subtle.
Oh, I mean, what did you do to me? It's my mom calling. I need to hang up on her.
It's Vinash.
So you're telling me that paragons are real, and that you're rescuing these, shards of the gods shattered across Andake, and you're a paragon of Dabathati?
No.
What?
It's a long story.
Well,
But yes.
it's a long trek to the nest, and she sheaths her dagger. Tell me everything.
We tell her everything.
Do you? What do you leave out?
We'll leave out like the personal stuff.
Okay.
Manaya almost dying, Oka's emotional shit, but like the true story of what happened in the mines.
Okay. Yeah, as you continue to walk, Rev takes all this in slowly. Do you tell her about, like, the nightmares that y'all have been having at all? No? I guess it's not relevant. Okay. She continues walking, following you. I mean, leading you. She, when you're done with your story, she goes, I can't believe it. So the gods aren't gone, but they're causing this. You suspect that's what's happening here with the undeath, isn't it? That this is
Renation.
the Raven Queen's doing? But necromancy she forbids it. It is sacrilege.
Remember, this is simply a drop in the lake of power of everything that the gods are. For all we know, this could be a part of the Raven Queen that adores life so much she would do anything to prevent death.
Blasphemy. Rev just sort of mutters. As she continues leading you. Before the four of you get to the weave-spun nest, is there anything else you would like to say to Rev or amongst yourselves?
One more thing. Slightly unrelated, but related to your mission. I see that you are a traveler, an adventurer like us. You have a mission, and you would go to the ends of the earth to finish it, and so would we. Given your target, what do you think about coming with us? We have contacts that can keep you safe. We have, well, the strongest lead you'll ever get on your target. Manai gestures at Dewey. And, well, you are stronger together than the sum of the people involved.
I have to admit, it's not what you're suggesting makes sense. What matters to me the most is killing the man with the dog's head. All this stuff about the gods, of course it matters, but once I kill him, well, I don't know what I'll do. But that's what matters to me right now. I'll stay with you as long as that continues to be relevant.
Sorry, I cut you off, Erica. You were going to say something.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay. The weave-spun nest. And Rev is sort of panting. When she was talking to you, she looks a little ragged. And Oka Vinash in you is roiling, is like eager, wants to like possess you again, you know, and come out of you and talk, communicate with whatever is at the weave-spun nest, you know what I mean? But are you keeping him leashed?
Yeah, I think Oka is like is halfway in their own mind, and maybe also just like kind of like holding on to Dewey's like shoulder, you know, like kind of behind the group.
Okay.
And, like not really noticing where they are, more just like they're so good at repressing their emotions. They're like, how could this be different?
Sure, you repress Vinash, just like the rest of your trauma. As Rev leads the four of you into a clearing, where you see there's a nest, sure, but it is gigantic. Just in the middle of this clearing, you see like several, all around, what's forming the clearing is several dozen huge trees inexplicably twisted and bent down to form like a ginormous like nest-like shape. And there's just tons of ravens everywhere. There are maybe like 100 ravens, more than that, like just in a murder, just like sitting on like various, like forming their little own nests upon the nest, like of the weave-spun nest. They're everywhere. They're in the trees. They're sitting on the weave-spun nest. But the most interesting thing about this is none of the ravens are squawking. They're all silently sitting there. And when the four of you emerge from the clearing, all 100 of their heads turn and face you. And the five of you step out into the clearing. The rat folk guy and his two goons haven't gotten there yet, because Repetoli had presumably led you through a shortcut that would beat them here. And you also see, sort of standing between you, the nest, and the ravens, 4 young people, maybe teenagers, maybe like 16, 17, 15, 14, are also standing there dressed in like the vestments of priests of the Raven Queen. And all 4 of them, actually they're not standing, they're kneeling, let's say. And they all 4 of them are clacking like bones together in a sort of like clacking prayer at the base of the weave-spun nest. And all 5 of you can sense this, it's coming from the nest, from somewhere inside the nest. You're not sure exactly where, but the nest is definitely the source of it. This presence just like pressing on you. Like you're in a net and it is just, the weave is just oppressing you, pressing you downward, like forcing you almost like down. But you're able to stand your ground as you step out into the clearing. Rev falls to her knees. She just goes, and she coughs. Like she is, like, physically injured. But the four, like, priests, young priests of the Raven Queen, they continue to clack those knuckle bones together. They don't even seem to notice that you're there. Oka, Vinash is roiling, just a ball of lightning and fury and just rage and eagerness just roiling inside you. What do the four of you do?
Rev, are you alright?
Shut up! Stop talking!
Can we pull Rev backwards?
Okay, yeah, Dewey, do you step forward and grab onto Rev?
Yeah.
Okay, you step forward, and as you touch Rev's shoulder, where are you grabbing her?
By the arm?
Okay, there is like a bang, like a spark or something. And yeah, it's like, we're not, it's bigger than that, Dewey. And I think as you reel backward, images flash through your head, briefly, of the sun. Just like the sun is blazing in your eyes, and then you hear like hooves. And you sort of like reel backward. I don't think you could continue touching her. Just there's something that like forces you back. And as you touch her, Rev goes, "Stop! Don't! It's so loud! Stop talking! Who are you? Who is this?"
Oh boy, I'm about to do something stupid. Dabathati looks so tired. I'm so sorry. Oh boy. Oka needs to see through Vinash's eyes. I don't want to use the power. I just want to let it out. I just want to let him out.
You also Dewey does also have a gem of true sight. But sure, you can use,
Oh no, I don't want to use. See that word? That's the dreaded
Okay,
word.
so how about this? In exchange for not using Vinash, Vinash is gonna be in the driver's seat for a little bit.
That's fine.
If you're gonna let him look
It's like
through him.
failing a charisma save. That's
Yep.
fine.
So you're like, all right, go. And you let go of your restraint on Vinash, and again, spills out of your eyes, spills out of your mouth, just red light ricocheting off of you, just lightning sparking off of your skin. Jesus, okay, what would happen in this moment? You see through Vinash seeing through you.
Oh, that's horrible.
And as you look upon Rev, there is like a miasma around her. A black mist is surrounding Rev. It looks feathered, looks winged. It's trying to get inside of her. And in that moment, you as Vinash, as you, recognize that shapeless like mist as an echo of the Raven Queen. It's trying to enter Rev, but Rev is not having it. And sort of in that moment, as soon as like Vinash comes out, that mist like pauses and seems to like glom up, and you see just like huge wings come out as like these two red eyes like burst into life, like in this shadowy form of a raven, and looks down upon you, Oka. No one else sees this, right? I think probably all of you just see like Oka maybe stagger backward a little bit, and then every single one of the 100 ravens opens their beak and speaks. And in a tongue that none of you know, but at the same time all of you know. It's not common. The Raven Queen speaks. And she says, "Vinash, is that you? Oh, but you're in the wrong body. The wrong body indeed." Oka, what does Vinash say?
Oh boy. Well, that one's yours, isn't it?
It is. But her heart is too full of hatred to let me in.
So take it by force.
That is not how I do things, Vinash. It might have worked with that wrong paragon of yours, but it will not work with mine. The only way you can deal with death is to accept its inevitability. What the hell is going on?
Manaya's grabbed Dewey and V and is like pulling them back and is like, nah, we ain't about to do this again.
Manaya, grab Dewey, grab V, and it's like that electric spark poof, again. And Dewey, you get that same vision. Sun, hooves, and then you see just a sea, and you think it's a green sea at first, but then you realize it is just a field. Just an open field, and just a feeling of just freedom gushes through you, and then you're blown backward. And Manaya, as you touch V, boom, there's a spark. And V, you also receive visions, but your vision, Jesus, is that of a bed, Sievert, an embrace. A feeling of love filling your heart, and then terrible, horrible heartbreak as grief wrenches it apart. And Manaya, as you touch your two friends and grab them backward, you are also smacked in the fucking face with a vision, and this one is of a storm roiling across the sea, a hot tempest, waves, and the three of you, I think, are thrown backward by the force of this connection, and you stagger backward. And all of you hear the Raven Queen's voice again coming out of the throats of these 100 ravens. I see. So, all 5 of you are here then, awakened by my presence. But 3 of you are empty. Too soon. Too soon. Stillborn.
They're not ready yet. They will be soon.
Make her ready, and I will listen. And then you see like the ravenous mist sort of retreat from Rev. And you see them return. You see the mist return to their true hosts, which is the 100 ravens. And then the ravens, that oppressive presence seems to draw back, you know? And Rev just sort of gasps like she was suffocating and could finally breathe again. And the ravens fall silent once more. It's probably where we can end that session, right? Feels like a good stopping point.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's end our session there.
Ruh-roh.
Ruh-roh indeed.
Ruh-roh.
And thanks everyone for watching episode 4 of Arc 2 of our all transgender person of color led 100% homebrew non-colonial anti-orientalist D&D actual play live stream campaign.
No conflict.
No conflicts. No
drama.
No drama happens in this world. So we will see you
How could it
next
possibly
week.
be interesting if you don't kill people?
Next Saturday, that is going to be February 6th at 3 p.m. Central U.S. time. Tune in for episode 5. What the hell's going to happen? That's a huge lore dump. We will see you then. Let's do some quick introductions. My name is Connie. I've been your GM and executive producer. My pronouns are they, he, and she. You can find me on Twitter at @byconniechong. I also run the Transplanar Twitter account at TransplanarRPG. You can find me on Tumblr at @DandDaddyIssues. I will pass things along to Devin.
Hello, my name's Devin. I use they, them pronouns. You can find me on our Discord. Join the Discord. I'll pass it to Max.
Max, I go by they, them pronouns. You can find me on Instagram at Starchmonger and Stitchmonger. I'm gonna pass it to C.
Hi, my name is C. I use they, them pronouns. I am a dancer, digital artist, and Twitch streamer. You can find me here on this channel tomorrow at 2 p.m. drawing fan art of whatever that just was, as well as on my own channel here at pi_sharp.
And last but not least, Erica.
Yes, it is me, Erica, she, her pronouns. I play Vinox Scherzo. You can find me at Erica New Girl on any platform. Come watch me stream sometime. My next stream is 2:30 Monday Central Standard Time. Let's hang out. Let's have some good laughs.
Heck yeah. And stick around for the raid. We are going to be raiding Dicey Amazons. They are an all women of color led tabletop variety channel. So they are playing tabletop roleplay games right now. We will see you there and see us tomorrow at 2 p.m. Central US time right here for C's art stream. And until then, we will see you next week for episode 5. We love you all. Peace. Stick around for the raid.
Raid message. Use our raid
message. Use it. All right. Peace.